Go ahead. Tell us a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah, we went through, I mean, after the battery tour and after I came home from Mumbai, really had set of shows that I really had to prepare for that, and preparing my students wasn't easy. So I couldn't really rest. I mean, I was expecting to take a break, and here we go. The whole world has taken a break now. You know
Yeah,
what is
so
going on.
when did you first hear about the coronavirus?
I think it was in the month of February, we heard there is something going on in China about a new kind of viruses that has been killing people, or people are having kind of respiratory issues. Slowly, it started in the end of February. So it was not that big in India initially, but this is something unbelievable.
So take us, well, first of all, just set the scene a little bit. Where are you sitting right now? And tell us, just give us a sketch of your place there. Where,
I
where
am
yeah.
I am in my office at Hassan, Karnataka, India, as you know, and you've been here before. And this is my office here, all deserted, no workers, no students. We're just quiet. Everything is online, thanks to the virtual world, thanks to the technology which is connecting the world together now at this moment, and also helping me to teach my students virtually, recording videos, recording audios for them, and just just trying to be connected with them so that they don't really forget this part of word, this part of dance.
How many students do you have normally?
So now we have 140 students, and about 30 of them will be appearing for their first year exams in the month of, I think, somewhere in the mid-May and maybe by the first week of June. But looking at all the scenario, looking at all the situation, so there may be, like, changes. So we are hoping for the best, but I don't know.
So the form that you're teaching is Bharatanatyam.
Yes.
And your students, what age what's the age range?
So we generally start admissions at the age of 6.5 to, we have students up to 25, 26, and all different age groups.
How many of them
So,
have the means to be in contact with you electronically, remotely?
but most of them do. And some of them, people who especially travel from rural areas, may not have internet facilities. They do have internet facilities, but they may only have an Android phone at home. Not everybody get access to learn. But anyway, luckily, every year from March 10th to May 1st week, institution closes for the summer vacations. But we have three batches, especially one for seniors. People who are in their senior grade and professional C grade shall continue their classes every day in the evening for 3.5 hours. And there are a couple of other batches which operates during the day for 3 hours. So unfortunately, we are just engaging classes for those people and people who will be appearing for the exams.
And how do you do that? Are you pre-recording your lessons?
We are pre-recording our lessons, and we have WhatsApp groups, so where we are sending our videos and audios for their convenience, for their easy learning.
So I understand that that there is now a lockdown across India for
Right.
21 days. And
Yes.
are all of your students safely in their place?
I hope they are. I literally had a phone conversation with a bunch of them. They said they're really scared because some of them, they come from really rural areas. Modi, when mentioned, and also the chief minister here in Karnataka mentioned two things very clearly: not to travel to any rural areas, because India is a country of villages. So we have tons and tons of villages. Each district has at least 150 to 180 villages, because that's how we have our agriculture active in India. If something goes wrong in villages, it would be very difficult for us to control it, for the health department or for the government to control the health issues there, because they don't have enough facilitation. Even India, like in a small cities like Hassan, finds it very difficult to have a very equipped medical facilitations. We do have facilitations, but not up to a very higher or very evolved facilitations like, like Bangalore or like Mumbai. We
How
still
far are
find it.
you from Bangalore or Mysore?
3.5 hours away from Bangalore on road and about 2.5 hours away from Mysore.
And so those bigger cities have larger hospitals and so forth.
They do have. Hassan has a lot of hospitals, but not very well equipped. And you know what? The thing is, nobody wants to live in a smaller town. Everybody wants to settle down in cities like Bangalore, Mysore, so that they get higher facilitation and they get to work in better campuses. And
So there's a
probably,
flood of people to those big cities, which could
yes,
over if this virus becomes really big like it is right now in New York City, it could overwhelm the hospitals, even in the large metros.
like I was reading this article, and that there was an analysis that I got to see on the Indian channels medias, saying like, if India gets really infected, now people are saying that it's going to enter the third stage. Slowly the victims of this virus are increasing every day. So if it goes, about 40 to 50% of people are going to be affected, and we are not equipped, because we need at least tons and tons of hospitals. It's okay, forget about the hospitals, but we need a place where they are kept separately, like quarantine. And we need at least, say, about 600,000 beds, or maybe 6,100 beds. You never know. India is
Yeah.
overpopulated.
I
We
mean,
have,
hopefully this act of putting people in place and stopping the gatherings, obviously that all the scientists and medical people say that that is the biggest factor in flattening the curve and halting this rapid spread of the virus, obviously, because it's communicated from person to person.
true. So luckily, there is a hold on all these activities. Indian weddings are like, this is the wedding season. Like, people would be like,
Wow.
up in all different cities, and each wedding has at least 2,000 invitees. Luckily, what government decided, what the prime minister decided to do to India, like shutting it down for 21 days, is a very good step. Hope
I
people
understand
understand
that, but
this.
is there a way that, I mean, have you seen any examples of people being able to gather like through technology in a big group? Are people looking for alternatives because they can't be together at a time like this that's so important?
I think people are all are virtually connected with their own families, because they cannot commute to district or cities to cities. They have barricades everywhere. There are cops waiting at the borders, making sure that there is only they're attending only the medical emergencies.
How about you
And
and your family? How are you managing the time?
we all are home. We are home stuck, but luckily we are spending a lot of family time, which we were like never had an opportunity to do it. We are just homestuck. We are having family time, like watching movies all together, discussing, having lunch, breakfast, and dinner together, and playing with my nephew. We are spending a lot of time in garden. You have seen my garden, and I love gardening. My mom loves gardening. So it's fun to see new year blooms, and all the summer flowers are in bloom. So we all go and discuss about the plants, about the flowers. So it's quite much of a family time. Yes,
I think
dad
that's
and my
I think that's the silver lining for something like this is that you're forced to find resources within yourself and within nature that you in the hustle bustle of normal life you can't do.
right. I mean, in a way, now most of the people are realizing of being together with families. In a way, they're connecting back to their roots, connecting back to their kids and their family. They're trying to find ways to, be together and feel the oneness at this high time. So when the world is fading due to this virus, and people are really scared in a way, but some of them are overconfident, and I still hear cops, coming on the streets and screaming at them, shouting at them. But now they don't have other go people, because some of them don't realize the importance of this. Because when something happens, there are conspiracies, and there are anti people about it. They think the other way. Oh, why we need it? So we are strong. I mean, you may look physically strong, but your human system may not be strong enough to withstand the newer attacks of the foreign bodies.
Yeah, we
So
just we just heard the tragic news yesterday of the death of a very, very wonderful chef, Chef Floyd
Right.
Cardoz from, who is from India, from Goa, who has been such an important person in the culinary field. And what about in the dance field? Have you heard of anyone who's been come down sick with the virus?
Not to my knowledge yet. I think dancers are, in a way, more sensitive to these kind of things. They look strong, they're bold, but at the same time, there may be a fear of getting attacked by the
Yeah,
virus. So
our
they're
bodies, I mean, our body is our instrument, and so
right.
you have to protect it.
Very true, very true. And everything happens through our body. So it becomes very important for dancers, not only for dancers in general, but I think in general for humans. The, uh, the important thing, if you are physically fit, if you're mentally fit, you can live. You can live tomorrow. But if something goes wrong today, so nobody will pay for it. Nobody will find an alternative ways to rejuvenate your body or mind. So this is a high time when people actually stay home, safe, and quarantine themselves to fight the virus.
I know that you're teaching your students numerous times a week in a normal time, and that they look up to you, and you have a relationship with them that goes beyond just the mechanical passing on of information. I I wonder if your students are missing you in a spiritual way when they need you so much.
Oh, we all are missing each other. So I keep getting these messages. Luckily, they're posting their videos on Instagram, on Facebook, on all social medias. In a way, I know that they are practicing, which is really good. In a way, no, I know that they are working out. Some of them are very serious about workouts because one of my student, Sumant, yes, Iyengar, he's my workout mate. So we see each other. We used to see each other every day at gym at 6 in the morning. So he keeps sending me those, something called a story on Instagram. So where you can tag people and say and give challenges like saying, okay, here I'm doing this. Can you do this? Or there is a question mark. Can you do this? I've taken a 20 days challenge. I mean, people are doing that. So I know they're active in their own places. And we really have to
That's
thank
very healthy.
acknowledge
It's a
them.
I think these challenges are sometimes silly on social media, like the
Some of them are.
ice bucket challenge and things like that. But there is a purpose. Um, the ice bucket was, to raise money for medical research, and this one is a way of connecting people and challenging people not to just sit on their couches all day long watching movies and television.
Right. I mean, this way, I think the social media is really helping people to do that. And the other thing is, it's keeping all of us connected. At a time like this, we really need moral support. So when we all are morally connecting each other, morally supporting each other, this is something that keeps everyone active. And just imagine the world without internet for a day. Just imagine the world without electricity because it says we all are very dependent because we all are connected.
I know, well,
And
in this country and many countries around the world, there was a huge influenza epidemic in 1918. In fact, my grandmother died at that time, and my father was 4 years old. So I think
mhm.
that's the last time that the world has experienced a medical pandemic on this level. Of course, the Ebola, there have been several, the bird flu, but this has encompassed the entire world.
Well, this is something very crucial and very critical, and it's on a very serious note. There's a saying that every 100 years there is a cycle in the nature. So nature finds a way to recycle, and we are victimized because of our own mistakes because we are just running behind technology and just trying to neutralize everything with mechanical influences. So this is a lesson that nature is giving us to evaluate, to value the human values or human nature. And this is somewhere it is trying to connect us back to ourselves and to appreciate the humanity than anything in the world. Because we
Well,
are going through the terrorism at a point. So we have border issues, we have linguistic issues, we have other issues, and people find issues everywhere in everything. But now we only have to find a way to be very human, very subtle, and very calm down, let our egos and try to connect with harmony. And when there is a need, so we really need to support them morally. I think this is a high time when people understand different cultures, different race, everything. But we all have to see at one subject as humans. We all are suffering at the same point.
That's a beautiful message. It's very helpful for me to hear that right now because in my country, there's certain schisms and breaks between certain communities and others. And yeah, like for example, calling this virus the China virus or the Wuhan virus is a very inflammatory thing. And then people are showing an ugly side of racism against Chinese Americans, which is completely inappropriate and horrible to see that happen. So thank you for sharing such a positive view of the situation and how you and your family are handling this. And I send you all my best wishes, my hopes and prayers that India will push away the virus through this social distancing and the 21 days of quarantine. I think I hope and hope and hope that people are able to get the food that they need and water and services. And as you said so beautifully, that the connections within families and friends and across your students and you on social media will keep you and keep your whole world intact. So I want to thank you also for the Bharatnatyam sort of lecture demonstration and participation that you have offered to us. And we're so excited to be able to share that with our audience here on Battery Dance TV. So Unnath, Hassan, Rathnaraju, thank you for coming on and sharing your story with us. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Jonathan. It's always been a pleasure to collaborate with Battery Dance Company, which is doing enormously amazing job connecting the world. I think your idea and the Battery Dance's idea of connecting the world together through movement is something I think nobody have ever can imagine. Such a massive work. I think you have done an amazing job bridging different cultures, different countries, different race all together. You fought, I mean, the Battery Dance is fighting against the Islamophobia. I think now Battery Dance might have to fight the Chinese phobia. You never know. I mean, this is an amazing experience to be a part of Battery Dance Company, and Jonathan Hollander and all the crew and all the colleagues in Battery Dance Company. All are such a lovely human being, sending message and values of humanity across the globe. Thanks for doing this amazing job, Jonathan.
It's a pleasure, and it's a pleasure to have you as part of our team. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thanks for the wonderful support.